Hello and good evening, guys. Today it is Tuesday, November 23rd, 2021. And for this video today, this will be my 2-day late Rockzilla's Weekly Roundup podcast video. Today, I've got something I will say. There is going to be a visual element a little bit in the video, so you can sit down and enjoy that. I mean, depending on how cold it is where you live, yes, you, the viewer, you might actually really enjoy seeing it. But anyway, I wanted to start this video off with something that I've been saying that I've been wanting for the past few weeks since the hockey cards from Tim Hortons here in Canada were brought out. But you see how Sidney Crosby in this photo is wearing a reverse retro uniform, the Penguins reverse retro uniform? Well, I have been hoping that I would get at least one Tim Hortons hockey card with a player wearing a reverse retro jersey for the past 2 to 3 weeks. I finally got one yesterday when I went to Tim Hortons and I bought myself a coffee. This time I went to a Tim Hortons that actually had Tim Hortons hockey cards, because the one that I usually go to, well, if you go there and you're looking for hockey cards, you are crap out of luck, because they haven't had hockey cards in that Tim Hortons in over a week. But here it is. I finally got my reverse retro hockey card, and it's a hockey card of Pierre-Luc Dubois. And I gotta tell you, I am over the moon ecstatic that I finally got a hockey card with a player wearing a reverse retro uniform. I gotta be honest, if I could get another card or two with a player wearing a reverse retro uniform, whether it's even Detroit or it's someone from the Ducks like Ryan Getzlaf, or for example, I'll take it. I think it's cool that they've made hockey cards with the players actually wearing these reverse retro uniforms. Another thing as well, I gotta be honest, I've always really enjoyed this Jets reverse retro. It's one of my favorites, actually. It's one of the most underappreciated reverse retros, in my opinion. It really is. But yeah, anyway, I thought I'd start the video celebrating that, because I just think it is so awesome. So awesome that I finally got a hockey card with somebody wearing a reverse retro uniform. And in this case, it's Winnipeg's Pierre-Luc Dubois. What was I going to say on that front, though? Yeah, Winnipeg's reverse retro jersey I've always liked since the moment it came out, honestly. It was actually a really cool modern take on the 80s Jets uniforms, worn by the likes of Dale Hawerchuk, may he rest in peace, and who else can I think of from the late 80s and 90s, or the 1980s, who played on the Jets? Shoot. I'm just drawing a blank tonight. Anyway, let's get into some of the NFL uniform matchups for this past week. I'll even cover yesterday's Monday Nighter as well. But I saw the Patriots-Falcons game. I saw the tail end of it on Thursday of last week, and the Patriots wore their standard away uniform, which it's not a bad uniform, against the Falcons wearing their throwbacks. I must say I miss those beautiful scarlet red throwback helmets that the Falcons used to wear with that uniform. I mean, they did a wonderful compromise with the black helmet, but, I miss the scarlet red helmet with that uniform. It's that special element that brings out the color in that uniform as a whole so much, because the jerseys are very simple, but they are very, very, very beautiful when combined with the socks, the pants, and those scarlet red helmets. I mean, it's still beautiful now, but the bright red helmets just bring it up a whole nother notch. It's just such a nice touch, and I miss that. So I'm hoping that once the NFL's one helmet rule is finally rescinded at the end of this season, it should have never been brought in the first place, in my opinion. I'm looking forward to hopefully seeing the Falcons bring back the scarlet red helmet with their throwbacks. I mean, I tip my hat to them for trying to, go more in the throwback direction with their new uniforms with a modern twist, but it's just their new uniforms, in my opinion, are not good. The jerseys are just not good. The throwback jersey, though, if they wanted to go in that direction, they should have just gone full throwback, in my opinion. But anyway, yeah, their throwback is a thing of beauty. But one more thing from that game, though. I noticed that just in year 2 after Tom Brady has gone and left the Patriots, is it me or are the Patriots on a bit of a hot streak right now? I mean, if the Patriots end up making the playoffs this year and end up going on a bit of a run even in the playoffs, I mean, if the 5 Super Bowls that Bill Belichick has won as the coach of the Patriots doesn't cement him as the greatest head coach in football history, arguably, or doesn't make him the best for coaches in NFL history, and then have the Patriots without Tom Brady go to the playoffs 2 years later, I don't know what will. I mean, the fact that Bill Belichick is coaching a Patriots team without Tom Brady, and they're red hot right now, and they're playing like a team that could actually make the playoffs, in my opinion. I mean, if that doesn't make him one of the greatest coaches, if not the greatest coach in NFL history, I don't know what will. I just don't. I don't know what criteria could possibly make you the best coach of all time, or at least one of the absolute greatest. I mean, it's unbelievable to see that the Patriots are doing as well as they're doing right now, in my opinion. But anyway, back to the Falcons, though, I must say, I actually feel their rather simple throwback logo is way better than the one they've had since the 2000s. I love the simplicity of it. I really do. But anyway, moving on, the Ravens played the Bears. The Bears wore their classic home uniform, and the Ravens wore their white jersey with purple pants and black socks. I like that the Ravens embraced purple. I mean, I'd like to see them update their logo and their uniforms a little bit, mainly the jerseys, but I like that they're purple and black, and they are the AFC's purple team. And it's nice, and I like the pants that they've been wearing in recent years more, the purple pants with their white jersey. It's a nice touch. Moving on, the Lions played the Browns, and the Lions wore their white jersey with silver pants and light blue socks. You know, folks, I must say, the Lions are one of those teams where the only thing that should change week to week is the color of their jersey. The pant-sock combo should always be left alone. I mean, I'm tired of the Lions messing with their pants and socks. And I'm also sick of those all-gray alternates, too. I do not like them one bit. But, even though I'm not a fan of the Lions' new jerseys, personally, they're not my favorite. But I must say, when they wear the right uniform combination, the pant-sock combos with them, they actually, as a collective uniform, look actually not too bad at all. But I still think they should go back to their early 1990s uniforms. Those are my favorite Lions uniforms of all time. And I actually think those are far superior to the throwback uniforms that we've become accustomed to seeing the Lions wear usually every year for Thanksgiving, which I'm sure they will in a couple days from now, since it is Thanksgiving down in the United States this week and Black Friday. It is for us too, but for us it's not a holiday. It's just a day where retailers offer significant discounts on a lot of things. But speaking of the team that they played, the Browns, they wore their home brown jersey with white pants and their classic brown and striped socks. That is my favorite Cleveland Browns uniform right there, even though I love the orange pants with both their white and brown jerseys. Yeah, I'm so glad that Cleveland went back to their, even though they got a bit of a slight modern twist to their uniforms that they've gone back to, they look great. They're some of the absolute best in the NFL, in my opinion. I love the Browns uniforms, and the brown jersey, white pant, brown sock with beautiful striping combo. And I mean beautiful striping on the socks when I say that, and combo. They have some of the most gorgeous uniforms in football, in my opinion. But yeah, even though the white pants with the brown jersey is my favorite look for the Browns, the brown jersey with orange pants is also such a nice look. And I'm glad that they listened to the fans and brought in brown pants as well. So cool. And they look great. Speaking of a game that looked rather great too, the Packers played the Vikings. The Packers wore their classic standard away uniform, and the Vikings wore their home uniform with white pants and purple socks. The Vikings jerseys are not my favorite, but with the right combos, you know, their uniforms as a whole almost always look good. And that's awesome. Moving on, the Texans wore white jerseys with navy pants and socks. It's too bad they didn't at least wear white socks or even red socks to add some color against the Titans, who wore their navy jersey with powder blue pants and navy socks. I'll give Tennessee credit. They did wear a contrasting pant, but it's their uniforms are just bad in my opinion. I'll never say it enough until they change it. But anyway, moving on. The Colts wore all white. They were basically stormtroopers on Sunday against the Buffalo Bills. Head to toe white. I mean, it drives me nuts when teams like the Colts do this because, you know, there's a reason that throughout history, teams always wear a contrasting sock color when they wear white jerseys with white pants, because it adds just enough color to break up all the white, and it looks so good. But when you wear head to toe white, it's too much. You need royal blue socks in the Colts case to break up all that white. You know, once again, they're one of those teams, like I said earlier with the Detroit Lions, that the only thing that should ever change with their uniform is the color of the jersey they're wearing. That's it. Because the white pant, royal blue sock combo with either of the Colts' main jerseys, or even their throwbacks that they're going to wear for a game or two this year, still, the pant sock combo is absolutely perfect. I am tired of the Colts wearing all blue. I'm tired of the Colts wearing head to toe white. If you want to do it in the preseason, whatever. But for regular season games, no, just stop. It's a terrible look. Stop doing it. It's sad because when the Colts wear their royal socks with their white uniform with white jerseys and pants and their white helmets, it's so gorgeous. It's perfect. But the white socks, they take away that much needed splash of color. Now, speaking of a splash of color, they played the Bills, who wore royal blue jerseys, their royal home jerseys with white pants and royal blue socks. There is yet another team, in my opinion, where the only element that should change on their uniform game in and game out is the color of the jersey. And if they do decide to wear their red color rash jersey again, instead of wearing all red below the helmet, I encourage you, Buffalo, to try wearing your red jersey with white pants and red socks. Seriously, if they did that, they'd have one of the most beautiful alternate jerseys in the NFL. And why they continue to insist on all red, it drives me nuts. Absolutely drives me nuts. They're once again yet another team where the only thing that should ever change, in my opinion, is the color of the jersey. Everything below the white pants and royal socks should stay the same unless they're wearing the red alternate, where the socks should be red and the pants should be white, not red. Now moving on, the Dolphins wore basically teal yoga pants because the socks and the pants were the same color. And they played the Jets, who wore their classic, a rather classic looking light green style of uniform, because they wore white pants and green socks with their green jersey. And for a team that's gone with a jersey style that I'm not a fan of, when they wear the right combos, man, their home jersey and uniform actually looks fairly decent. The jersey needs work, but the uniform as a whole, I'm a fan. the lighter green that they've gone to, the contrasting white pants and green socks. Man, they're one of those few teams with a modern style uniform that actually look relatively decent. You know, what a decent looking uniform in my opinion. That's something that, even though I don't care for the Jets' new jerseys, the uniform combos, when they wear the right combos, man, do they actually look good overall. Very impressed. And I'm so glad that the Jets usually insist on wearing traditional uniform styles with their rather untraditional jerseys. I mean, that's definitely worthy of a shout out in my opinion. Now moving on, the Saints wore all white, not a color rush uniform. They're a away jersey with everything below the waist white. I mean, unless you want to go back to your color rush jersey and its black counterpart full time, which I think they should do, if you're going to continue to wear your rather simple home and away jerseys, at least wear the gold pants, guys. Own the gold, New Orleans. The gold pants allow your uniforms to look relatively decent day in and day out. I mean, I am so tired of New Orleans wearing all white. And it's the thing I hate about their color rush uniform too. Way to take a beautiful pant and a beautiful jersey and take away that much needed splash of color. Imagine if they wore all white with their color rush uniform with gold socks. Man, it would be perfect. But no. The Saints are just one of those teams that drive me nuts with their uniform decisions. I'm not going to lie. But they played the Eagles, who wore everything below the helmet black. They wore their black alternate jersey with everything black, monochrome black. You know, when they wear that jersey with white pants and black socks, it's actually not a bad look. But all black? No thanks. Stupid choice by the Eagles, who I think need new jerseys. Moving on to a matchup that was a total 180 of that matchup I just complained about, the 49ers and the Jaguars. So San Francisco wore their regular away uniform, but the Jaguars, I've noticed that starting this season, they've decided to make teal their primary color again, which it's long overdue. They wore their teal jersey with white pants and teal socks. You know, even though their jerseys are a bit too plain in my opinion, with their teal jersey with the white pants and teal socks, it's actually not a bad uniform. But as for their away and third jerseys, I'm not a fan of those, but the teal jersey with the white pants and teal socks, it's actually a decent look. Now, moving on, Washington wore their white jersey with white pants and burgundy socks. I'm hoping that we will see them bring out the burgundy pants with their white jersey for a game or two still before the season's done, because that's my favorite combo. For Washington, white jersey, burgundy pants, white socks. But I love the all white as well. That is a great look too. But I do hope that they will keep the burgundy pants in the rotation as well. Now moving on, the Panthers did wear everything below the helmet in black. I wish that they would at least wear light blue socks if they're going to do that, but you know, the Panthers tick me off because their home, away, and third jersey are all great jerseys, but they always seem to find a way to ruin them by wearing the wrong combos, and that sucks. You know, when they wear their black jersey with silver pants to match the helmet and light blue socks, or even black socks, it's a great looking uniform. When they go head to toe black, jersey to toe black, it stinks. Way to ruin a great uniform in my opinion. Now moving on, the Bengals, they've actually been so far wearing decent uniform combos that contrast. It's not like they're wearing all white or all black for the most part, which is good. So they wore their white jersey with black pants and white socks, and the Raiders, of course, are the Raiders. They always wear the right combos because they're the Raiders and they know better, and that's a great thing and a blessing. But I encourage the Bengals to try at least wearing orange socks next time, because the one thing I hate about their new uniforms is, their home and away jerseys have a lack of... Their away jersey has a lack of orange. So to wear orange socks with that uniform to match the helmet, it would give it all some much needed color. And their new home jersey, it's all right. But, I wish they would have a little bit more orange with their main jerseys. Even if it's just wearing orange socks, just to add that extra bit of color. Now, moving on, the Cardinals and the Seahawks, I think they had the second worst matchup of the week. The Cardinals wore their standard away uniform with white pants, red socks, and the Seahawks wore their head-to-toe navy blue home uniform. I mean, if there's any team that needs a redesign, it's Arizona. But, I'm starting to feel that way about Seattle, too. I'm not going to lie. As somebody who is a Seahawks fan, to be honest, I'll never forget these uniforms since, they wore them when they won their first and only Super Bowl back in 2014. But, they're not. It's not a great look. It really is not. And, if there's any team that I hope takes advantage of the one helmet rule being rescinded so they can wear a throwback, it's definitely Seattle, in my opinion. They're definitely at the top of the list for me. Now, moving on, the Cowboys and the Chiefs had what I feel was the matchup of the week. Chiefs in red with white pants and red socks. Cowboys in their standard white uniform. Beautiful, gorgeous-looking matchup, in my opinion. You do not get much better than that. Moving on to another beautiful matchup, maybe the second best of the week. The Steelers and the Chargers. The Steelers with their standard away uniform, and the Chargers with their powder blue jersey, white pants, powder blue socks. For a team with a modern look, when the Chargers wear that combo at home, it's their absolute best combo for sure. I mean, the only uniform matchup that I would say is actually better than that matchup, well, besides the Chiefs and the Cowboys, would have been the Packers-Vikings. That was the second best uniform matchup of the week, in my opinion. And then third best would definitely be the Steelers and the Chargers. I hope that the Steelers do eventually drop the italic font and go back to the 70s throwback font. That would be nice. But as I say that, though, really good-looking game. And finally, yesterday's matchup between the Giants and the Buccaneers. The Giants decided to wear their white throwbacks. I think they should go back to the 80s throwbacks full time. I still think that their home and away jerseys that are throwbacks too, they just are too mismatched. You've got an away jersey that's basically white and red and a home jersey that's royal blue and white. Like, go back to the 80s uniforms where they both match. And I think the Giants word mark is a better word mark than the NY monogram logo. I like it better on the helmet. The Giants word mark, I mean. But, if the Giants are going to wear the throwback, why can't they wear blue socks to bring some contrast? Like, why do they have to wear monochrome white, all white, besides the helmet? It's just mind-boggling why they insist on that, even when the color rash program has been officially over for a long time now. But finally, the team that they played, the Bucs, they decided to change things up a little, wearing their red jerseys with white pants and black socks instead of pewter pants. And even though the pewter pants are the best pants that when I think of Brady, I always think of the Patriots. I'm sorry. Even though the pewter pants are by far the best pants between them and the white pants for the Buccaneers, in my opinion, the white pants are a nice change once in a while. And hey, the Buccaneers won wearing white pants with their red jersey. So, you know what? It's definitely a winning look in my books. I'm just glad that those hideous monstrosities that they were wearing before are now nothing but a bad memory. Hopefully, they never come back. So, good thing I still have some water in my cup. My throat's getting rather dry. But I'm going to talk a little bit about some NHL-related stuff. I saw the Oilers' third jersey again on Saturday, and I got to be honest, I don't blame the Oilers for not making that their home jersey. I might actually make a video talking about the Oilers insisting on orange as their primary look still. There is something I want to talk about related to that, actually, so you might see a video from me on that. But, couldn't they have at least made one thick orange stripe on each arm just to add some color? It's far too dark and drab. It's disappointing because I still think their third jersey's crest is such a cool look. But the uniform, the jersey, the uniform, those stripes on the arms and on the socks are far too thin and anorexic, in my opinion. Just horrible. Just a terrible, terrible look. The skinny stripes, the super ultra thin stripes on the sleeves and on the socks. Why couldn't you have gone with a simple thick orange stripe on each arm and on each sock? It would have been not much better. It wouldn't have made the jersey so much better, but it would have been a substantially better idea in my books. Now, speaking of teams that have made some rather poor choices with uniforms, I saw the New Jersey Devils jersey leak, and I did get to see their jersey unveiled today. I did see it was unveiled today. I tip my hat to them for embracing the hockey history of the state of New Jersey by using the Newark Bulldogs as inspiration for their new third jersey, but I'm sorry, their new alternate uniform is just a stinker. It looks like a love child between the Blackhawks 2019 Winter Classic sweater and the Ottawa Senators late 2000s alternate uniform. It's just a disaster. So basically, New Jersey got a new alternate jersey that says jersey on the front of the jersey. And basically, they got a third jersey that looks like a rip-off jersey of the Chicago Blackhawks 2019 Winter Classic jersey that looks like it's a love child between that jersey and Ottawa's late 2000s Reebok Edge third jersey. Okay, the jersey stuff, I'll stop. I'll shut up. But, I couldn't resist. I'll be honest, but it's just such a stupid idea. I mean, are you telling me they couldn't have added some red or done a bit of a subtle inspiration where maybe the shoulder area was inspired by the Bulldogs, but maybe the striping was inspired by their uniforms from 1992 to 2017? I mean, if there's anything that the Devils should have done with their uniforms, they should have fixed their main jerseys. Their Stanley Cup winning uniforms are some of the best in hockey. They're simple, classic colors, nice striping, head to toe, just nice uniforms. But no, when Adidas comes along, let's get rid of the waist striping and let's make our jerseys look like over-glorified fashion shirts. Or basically, to me, they look like those fashion hoodies without the hoodies on them. They're just awful. So instead of fixing their main jerseys, and instead of maybe even using this opportunity to bring out the reverse retros as a full-time third, because I actually felt New Jersey's green reverse retros were actually really nice. No, let's create some new black jersey design that's based off of the Newark Bulldogs that looks like a ripoff of other teams' uniforms. Great going, New Jersey. I know that the Newark Bulldogs had a sweater that was basically the Blackhawks sweater from the 20s, but you know what? Are you telling me that as the New Jersey Devils, you could not have been creative and come up with something else? Or something loosely based off of that? Like, they could have done something awesome. But instead they just created this alternate uniform with little to no creativity. And they go on writing basically an essay about each uniform element. Like, you know what I find, folks? If you have to write out a short essay to explain every single decision that goes into a design, it's probably because it sucks. Just saying. But speaking of uniforms that suck, I saw Hockey Canada's new uniforms for the 2022 Winter Olympics in Beijing, China. And besides the white jersey, the red and black jerseys, in my opinion, are just... I'm going to do a video sharing my thoughts on them, but they are just bad. Black on red with no white. Red on black, and red on black with no white or no contrast. Yikes. I mean, the sad part is the white jersey is okay. I mean, excuse me. I mean, I'll give Nike a bit of credit. So far, it looks like teams are going in a bit of a more traditional route this time around. But what I saw from Canada today was just pathetic. They're horrible. I mean, you could create a pair of simple jerseys. And you could look into Canada's hockey jersey history. And Canada could have come up with a pair of simple red and white jerseys. And if they wanted to do some crazy black alternate jersey like they did, whatever. But, it seems like ever since the Sochi Olympics, the uniforms seem to be getting worse and worse. I actually feel the Pyeongchang jerseys were better. At least they had contrast. Jesus Christ. But the new white jersey, though, I'll give Canada credit for that one. That one's actually not bad. But the black and red ones, what the hell was Hockey Canada thinking? Like, Jesus Christ. Now, anyway, I forgot to mention this earlier, but I thought I'd use my fireplace as the backdrop for this video today. If it's cold where you live, like where it is, where I live right now, hey, maybe you'll have a bit of a feeling of warmth staring at the camp, or not a campfire, but my fireplace for the video. But yeah, besides that with jerseys and stuff, my week's been a roller coaster. And you feel free to sit down and enjoy a little bit of story time with Rockzilla. I mean, I know this is supposed to be a weekly roundup podcast, but this point of the video is going to become story time with Rockzilla because it's been a roller coaster of a week for me. I mean, last Sunday I watched Star Wars Episode 9. I figured, okay, I don't have to go to movie theaters and pay money for this after what happened with Star Wars Episode 8. I don't care what anybody says. That movie was a joke. That movie, as somebody who actually likes Star Wars, pissed me off. They completely defecated over the greatest intellectual property in cinema, at least that's what I think. You don't have to agree, but the greatest film franchise ever made. The first 6 episodes were amazing. Okay, Star Wars Episodes 1 and 2 weren't the greatest in the world, but if you think those were bad, after you've seen Star Wars 7, 8, and 9, if you still think that those movies are crap compared to the garbage we got in the Disney trilogy, you're crazy in my books. Just that's my view. But, thanks to a channel called Showcase here in Canada, I did not have to go and waste like $10 to $20 to go see Star Wars Episode 9 in a movie theater. After Star Wars Episode 8, thinking that I was going to go and enjoy watching Star Wars Episode 8 in a movie theater, after how bad that movie was, I'll tell you something. I refused. I boycotted Star Wars Episode 9. I refused to pay money to see it in theaters. No stinking way. But, I will say this. It's the only Star Wars movie I had not yet seen. So, last week I was glad that I saw it. But I will say this about it. I'll give J.J. Abrams and Disney a bit of credit. They did a nice send-off for Carrie Fisher, who sadly passed away. And I will also say this. They did make Episode 9 a little bit better than Episode 8. It was better than Episode 8, but to me, that's not saying much. There were just so many things about Episode 9 that just made me scratch my head. Like, the telepathic meetups between Rey and Kylo Ren where they start having lightsaber battles with telepathy. Like, what? And then, okay, where do I even begin? So the beginning of the movie where, the classic thing that happens at the beginning of every Star Wars movie where there's a bunch of text explaining the movie or the events in the film, or a little bit of a recap from the last movie. And then it starts talking about, oh, there's sounds or hints of Darth Sidious in the Force or whatever, or voices of Darth Sidious or something like that. I mean, so if Darth Sidious is making a return, why are you giving that away in the first 2 minutes of the film? Like, wouldn't you want to save that as some kind of surprise? Like, are you guys that incompetent writing this movie? What, you basically tell the world that, oh, Darth Sidious is back. Where was any clue of Darth Sidious in Star Wars episodes 7 and 8? And by the way, wasn't Darth Sidious supposed to be killed off at the end of Return of the Jedi? Like, I thought that Darth Vader threw him off a ledge to his death. Like, what? Like, what the hell was up with that? And yeah, and then the telepathic Star Wars, lightsaber battles between Kylo Ren and Rey. Or the Force, or the magical Force healing. I'll be throwing in some spoilers in this here. So if you haven't seen it yet, I just advise you, come back to, maybe put the video on mute for the next 2 minutes. Or actually, don't bother. It's not even worth avoiding the spoilers for, trust me. But what else was there? Okay. Darth Sidious shoots up all these, like this godly Force lightning, and is able to stop thousands of aircraft from moving, and was basically on the verge of destroying them all. Like, I thought Force lightning and Force powers had limitations. Oh, and Rey was able to... So, Chewbacca got taken hostage by the First Order, a.k.a. the bad guys. And Rey, she uses the Force to stop this aircraft from flying up. Like, I thought that in the earlier Star Wars films that to even move an aircraft a little bit took basically all of your might, and she's just stopping this whole aircraft in travel. Like, are you kidding me? Really? And then her and Kylo Ren were supposed to find this ancient place where Darth Sidious has been residing, preparing a new Sith order, a revived Sith, basically. So they have to find these devices to find where this ancient hideout planet place or whatever is located. Yet there's tens of thousands of army members preparing for war against the rebels where Darth Sidious has been hiding, or a clone of him or whatever. And so are you telling me that they couldn't have just found out from somebody who has been there? Like, they had to find these ancient relics or whatever to find out where Darth Sidious is? Yet there's like tens, if not hundreds of thousands of military troops that are there preparing for war under Darth Sidious's command. Like, what? You telling me that somebody wouldn't have leaked something to the rebels by now? Like, with all those people, or one of them would have found where they're going or something? Like, really? That just makes no sense. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. So Luke Skywalker was looking for years for this thing, yet these tens of thousands of military troops fighting for the First Order know where it is. Like, what? What the hell? And then at the end, Rey says, at the very end of the movie, she says, I'm Rey Skywalker. Why are you taking the Skywalker name? I'm like, really? Like, what the hell? Like, that movie had so many things that made me just shake my head. Like, I was just thinking, really, guys? Really? So you absolutely dropped a nuclear bomb on the Star Wars franchise with how bad The Last Jedi was. And then you bring out Episode 9. I mean, I'll give them credit. Once again, J.J. Abrams was given an absolute fecal stain of a film to build on. He was given a disaster. And I mean, basically they were so desperate to come up with something just good enough to pass as a final film to wrap things up. It's just, to me, Star Wars Episode 7 through 9 are just, they don't exist. I honestly pretend that they don't exist. The only films that I respect are Episodes 1 through 6. 7 through 9, no. And then, I thought it was cool that Ben Solo, Kylo Ren started to go back to redeem himself as Ben Solo again. And then he gets healed by Rey. And then, they have a kiss, and then Ben Solo dies. Like, I thought you just healed him. Like, what? I'm sorry. That film makes my brain hurt just thinking about it. But anyway, I saw that. The power went out briefly because of the superstorm we've been dealing with here in BC, sadly. And then the next day, my car's battery died, and then I had to have my car jump-started. Thankfully, it's been working ever since. Then the day I go back to work, the weekend prior, I was sick for a few days because, I got my second COVID shot, And, and then the day I go back to work, some drunk old man comes into our work thinking that he left his money in our work because he was so just stupid drunk. And not only was his pants falling the whole time, before he left, his underpants fell too. God. That was not something that I wanted to see. Oh, God. It was terrible. It was terrible. God. And then on Friday, and then Tuesday and Wednesday, it was just horrible hearing about the floods and everything that's been happening here in BC. And to all of you affected by the floods and the landslides and, all the loss of livestock and the loss of lives, because some people sadly died in a landslide or two. I mean, railways and highways being washed away or underwater. To all of you affected by the storm disaster we've had in the past week and a half, you guys are in my thoughts. You guys are my thoughts and prayers, and I just hope for the best for all of you. I just hope that we can get this situation turned around. It hurts my soul to see this happening in my backyard, in my neck of the woods here in BC. It's just absolutely horrible. And my thoughts and prayers are with all of you in the Fraser Valley region of BC, whether it's Abbotsford, it's Chilliwack, or it's Hope, or it's any of the smaller rural communities affected by the lack of essential supplies such as food. I mean, I've been hearing from customers at my work that even down in the lower mainland, grocery stores are being depleted of meat. I have family up north where they can't even get tomatoes or milk or cheese or even a lot of meat or chicken. It's terrible. And, I just hope that we can see this situation get rectified as soon as possible. You guys are in my prayers, and, my heart goes out to all of you. I just hope and pray that things turn around on that front soon. That's been bothering me all week, and I mean that. It's really, really sad. For the past almost couple of weeks now, a week and a half, it's just been so painful to watch. I'm not going to lie. But then on Friday at my work, this happened. I had some lady telling me that, she had a family member or somebody she knew or something, I can't even remember, who is a billionaire or something. And she said, we can hire and fire anybody in the world. And I was just thinking, did you just say that? I was just like, okay. Are you all right? Is your head on straight? No, and I was just like, really? Like, you've got to be kidding me. Like, do you really actually believe that? I was almost, I think on Friday or Thursday or Saturday, I think it was Thursday or Friday, there was a full moon, and I swear there was like some kind of eclipse as well. I'm actually starting to find more and more that I'm starting to believe my coworkers when they say that people go crazy. We start to deal with people get crazy when there's a full moon. I'm actually starting to believe that that's true. Usually I find it is when there's a full moon that you see some crazy customers. I mean, you're dealing with crazy people. And as I say all of this, lately my work's actually been going really well. These are just little small exceptions. And as soon as this lady left my work, oh my God, the rest of my night was awesome. It was really busy, but my night was actually really good. And then the next day was actually really good too. Not bad for a day that was almost 10 hours long. Holy cow. I actually had a really good day. Friday and Saturday, usually those are times where sometimes you tend to get more people, and sometimes, you have bigger lineups and it's busier, a little bit more hectic. But I actually had, the past week was actually really good at work, except for, the old guy who, thanks to his drunken stupor, his pants and underwear fell off, and I had to see his genitalia for a split second. Jesus Christ. And then this woman telling me, oh, well, me and this person I know is a billionaire. We could hire and fire anybody we want. And I think she said her brother or something. I don't even care at this point. It was just so ridiculous. I was just like, really? Did you forget to take your medication or something? Actually, I'm convinced it's just a full moon that just made her and a whole bunch of other people in the world crazy. I just was thinking to myself, really? Did you just say that? Wow. Honestly, when she said that, I was speechless. I was just like, oh, okay. And in the back of my head, I was just like, I was just thinking to myself, in my opinion, I thought she was nuts. I still think she's nuts. But anyway, that's my opinion. You may or may not agree. But anyway, I've been talking for almost 50 minutes. I'm going to call it a wrap at this point. I hope you enjoyed story time with Rockzilla by the fireplace. Maybe you had a sense of warmth if it's ice cold where you live. Hopefully, if you stuck around, you enjoyed listening to my storytelling and all my talk about uniform matchups and the Devils and Hockey Canada's poor taste in jersey design. Oh, did I say that? Sorry. I totally was trying to not say anything. Not. I meant every bit of that. But yeah, if you guys still stuck around, I'll tell you one thing. This is a great video to listen to going to bed, because I'm sure by the time you're done listening to this video, you'll be fast asleep. No, I'm kidding. Well, maybe staring at the campfire might I want to say campfire. The fireplace might induce a nice little calmness, or maybe brings on the melatonin in the brain, makes you tired. Anyway, my point is, I hope that you enjoyed the video if you listened to it all the way. And I'm sure, I wouldn't be surprised if this was a great video to help you nod off tonight, or whatever night you're watching this. But at this point, guys, I'm going to call it a wrap. My voice is starting to go. Until next week, and until my next video, guys, as always, take care. And as I always say, folks, bye for now. Have a great week. To you folks here in BC affected by the floods and the atmospheric river superstorm rainstorms that we've had in the past 10 days, you guys are my thoughts and prayers. Hopefully you will start to see some kind of normal again soon. Hopefully the crews that are busting their buns 24/7 right now will be able to clear the highways and get the flood waters to recede, rebuild the dikes, and start to get some kind of normal again. I mean, COVID-19, the forest fires this summer here in BC, and the extreme heat that we had in mid-June have been bad enough. I just hope that we can start to see this situation turn around fast. And to those of you in the United States, I want to wish you all a fun, safe, happy Thanksgiving to you guys down south. Also, I hope you guys have a safe Black Friday too. And for the love of God, don't go to these big crowds for these Black Friday deals. And to the Weedus Heat 96, I'm looking forward to yet another Black Friday rant because, you know, to get a good deal on a TV or something, it's not worth getting trampled and losing your life over. It really is not. But anyways, folks, have a great rest of your week. I've been talking for 50 minutes. If I don't shut up now, this video is going to go on for a full hour. So with that, folks, take care. And as always, bye for now.